I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, June the 28th, brought to you in part by Joplin Regional Stockyards. Big yearling special here today for the regular Monday sale. It's going to be a yearling special, at least 9,000 head. Included in there will be at least 100 straight loads of true yearling cattle. The sale is going to start at 7 o'clock in the morning. They'll be on the yearlings by 9:30. Talked to Mark Harmon on Sunday afternoon. He was by the yards there, said they had over 6,500 head of them in there already. A lot of them turned out in the big lots. He said in there's a lot of reputation consignments. He said either home-raised cattle or some of their bigger backgrounders that really know what they're doing. So be sure and get in on that sale. You can watch it on dvauction.com. Put your bid in there, or you can get a buyer there at Joplin Regional Stockyards. Big yearling special. Don't forget, July the 1st is going to be the Big Bang sale out of Quapaw Casino, the primetime livestock video Big Bang special. That's going to be a big one, and so I think they're expecting like 30,000 on that sale. I'm going to be there to help take the internet bids, so I hope to see you guys there too. Short weeks, this one and the next week as far as marketing your feeder cattle. We got 4th of July is landing on Sunday this year, so some of your late week sales will be shut down. You get in the southeast, most all your sales are going to be shut down, maybe for 2 weeks, some of them. You know, you got a chance to market some cattle kind of up through Wednesday of this week. And then next week, you know, a lot of the sales are going to be closed next week, but you'll have to get into some mid to late week sales next week. So keep that in mind. You know, if you're going to sell cattle here early this week, I think that's a good deal. But Oklahoma City has some catching up to do because they were lower last week, and then we saw those big gains. So we should see some big trends here early in the week. Oklahoma City will probably be several dollars higher. That'll make things look really good, but you can't force the issue. You need to talk to your marketing agent, talk to your sale barn. If they're not going to have a very big run mid to late week this week or early next, just hold off and sell them. I wouldn't think there'd be anything to hurt the market that bad, but you just need to talk to the guys. Don't just show up with cattle. And it's not that everybody wants to be off just on the 4th of July, but those cattle have to be worked when they get to the feedlot. And those people that work those cattle, they want to spend time with their families too. So, you know, we got 4th of July coming up. Just kind of watch the calendar and talk to your marketing agent on what you think you should do if you're wanting to sell some cattle. And, you know, with the short weeks here, we're unsure if we're going to have any more volatility. We've been seeing a lot of volatility. Your grains were down big last week. We had a lot of moisture in the Midwest over the weekend and late last week. Some places too much. So we're unsure if that's going to be a helper or hurt. It's probably going to help. But I know some places and friends of mine that are in Missouri, they had more rain than they needed for sure. But still, you can't push off rain, especially this time of year. But we had a big push last week, both with the Senate Ag Committee hearing on the cattle market, examining the markets, the transparency and the prices. That went great. We want to thank our buddy Justin Tupper from St. Ann, South Dakota for doing such a good job of that and volunteering his time and really being an ambassador for the industry, and I thought he did a great job. The Paws Act failed in Colorado last week. You know, you had the Colorado Supreme Court defeat it like 7-0. That was the one that was going to outlaw our reproductive management of cattle and call everything kind of, you know, doing weird sex acts on cattle when you're just castrating the bulls and palpating the cows and things like that, and just crazy stuff. But there'll be more crazy stuff come along and in some other areas. I hear similar bills being pushed through in Oregon. I'm not sure if they're trying to get it on the ballot or how they're trying to do it, but pay attention, guys, and fight it where you can. Something else we could get done, and we've got to get done this week, is go on and sign the petition on checkoffvote.com. that will call for a referendum. The petition itself does not automatically dump the checkoff, but the checkoff allows for a referendum, either a yes or no vote on the Beef Promotion Act of 1985. 1985 is the last time we got to have any say about this thing. And it's your dollar checkoff. We would like to see that money spent in some different ways. I think they need to bring it back, re-examine it. We can't even fight off fake meat with the dollars that you guys give every time you sell cattle. There's a rule in there that says you can't spend that money to disparage competing proteins. We need to start over from scratch. I think we need to start over where we're collecting that money, quit putting the onus on the sale barns to collect that money. Let's start collecting that money when the cattle are harvested, and then collect more than $1. Collect several dollars when the cattle are harvested, and then let it trickle down. Packers are good at that. They can let it trickle down, and we'll do it that way. But we got to have 88,269 signatures, and we don't have them yet. And it is so easy to go to checkoffvote.com and fill out a few lines there and submit that vote. And I can't understand why we can't reach that number of votes. All you had to have done is owned one, sold one, or bought one in the last year, and you're good to go on that. But I would encourage you to go on there. It's a performance evaluation of it. If you think they're doing a wonderful job spending those dollars, then I guess, maybe you shouldn't do it. But if you think that money could have been better used to help, fund some of these startup packing houses, if you think it could be used better than just putting I Love Beef ads in cattlemen's magazines and stuff like that, a lot of that's hush money. They give money to those publications, ag publications, so they won't publish things that kind of disparage the checkoff. But this is an opportunity to do it. We won't have another opportunity to vote on it, to see it. Plus, the main thing is it'll just bring more awareness to all the things that are going on in the beef business right now and in the cattle business. And the way that your consumers are getting gouged, and the way that your cattle people are having a hard time making a living, while the packers are having these all-time record profits in just about every quarter. It'll bring more awareness to that. It will help us get some of these things done that we're looking at, that they were talking about in that Senate Ag Committee hearing. But sure wish you guys could get on to checkoffvote.com and sign that petition and help bring some awareness to this industry. Let's talk about your futures for last week. June live cattle futures. Monday was down 7, Tuesday up 212, Wednesday down 60, Thursday up 32, and Friday was unchanged, with your June live cattle contracts ending the week at 122.82. That was up $1.77 for the week. August ended the week at 122.80, just about the same, up $1.25. Feeder cattle really gained on the board, and we've been seeing big gains in your cash market. This week we saw slightly bigger gains on the futures than we did in the cash, and the cash was really good too. But August feeder cattle, Monday was up 7 cents, Tuesday up 3 1/4, Wednesday was off 2.65. But Thursday come back $1.45 higher, and Friday up $2.40, with August contracts ending the week at 159.55, up $4.53 for the week. September is over $1.60. It's at 161 1/4, up 4.03. Corn, your old crop July ended the week at 636 1/2. That was down 18 3/4%. December ended the week at 519 1/4. That's a long ways from where it was, down 47 cents for the week. And that's with all the moisture that come in, because all they could talk about was how dry it was going to be. And it is dry in some places, especially when you go into northern plains and back out west. Still dry out there, but even some of those places have gotten a little bit of moisture. Beans, July old crop beans, 1329 3/4, down 66 1/4, and November new crop beans, 1269 3/4, down 43 1/4 for the week. Your fat cattle trade, almost non-existent. I tell you how bold these packers are, right in the face of all this attention that they're getting in Washington, D.C., and showing that they've got no transparency, no competition. We have one of the smallest negotiated cash weeks that we've ever seen, outside of being a holiday or a bunch of plants being dark or something like that. But there was no reason not to do that. We are going to have a short week maybe this week, because a lot of the places won't kill on Saturday at all. Not sure if they are going to kill on Friday. I would think they would go ahead and kill on Friday, but they may not kill the second shift. Who knows? But still, through Thursday, only 34,600 head. Probably have a light week next week too. But that 34,600 compares to 65,300 the week before and 71,500 head the same week a year ago. And you would think as they're going to be cleaning the shelves out here, grilling for the 4th of July, they'd want some product. They're resisting the higher prices. Been getting higher prices here for the last few weeks. They're resisting the higher prices because these box beef cutout value levels are coming back at least into our stratosphere. Still got choice cuts well over $3 a pound. I remind you, when fat cattle were their all-time highest back in 2014 at 172 was the highest fat cattle market. That was live. 172 live was the all-time record. Choice cuts back then were 256 to correspond with that. And we've had choice cuts well over $3 here for several weeks, and they're still over that, but they are down some. But your packers are just resisting that. They're getting all the cattle bought they need through formula pricing, and then if guys can't get them sold cash, they'll end up having to turn them in on a grid. So, but the heck of it is, I don't know whether they're going to come up with a base price, because they're not going to have enough trade in any of the negotiated areas to really establish a base price. But live sales through the week, up through Thursday last week, 120 to 126 on steers and heifers. That was $1 to $2 higher for the most part. That 120 was just on one deal there. It was mostly 122 to 126. But your weighted average on live steers on the little dab that we sold, 125.54 last week through Thursday. That was up 269 compared to the same point the week before. Your dress sales, steers and heifers, range from 197 to 202. Really seeing good gains, because that's where the short of cattle is, up in Nebraska and Iowa and places like that. $2 to $5 higher on the spread. Your weighted average on dress steers, 197.86. That was up almost $2.50 compared to the previous week's weighted average. Did have a little bit of trickle of trade on Friday, and I didn't hear of much more trade after they turned that stuff in on Friday afternoon. There likely might be a few more, because not even 35,000 head. Give me a break. But the few sales that they had on Friday, Iowa had about 700 head, only 15,600 head for the week. Live sales in Iowa, 125 to 126, and dress sales from 197 to 203. We didn't see the 203 up until Friday, so that would even boost your trend a little bit more. Nebraska, only 500 head confirmed on Friday, about 16,400 head for the week. And I guess you could call it a holiday week that they're buying for, since we've got a 4th of July on Sunday. But your likely official holiday is going to be on the following day, on the Monday. But they're going to abuse the system as much as they can. But the heck of it is, they're going to be short bought, and they're going to need product. Because they're going to clean the shelves out. People, Biden told us we was going to get to have a close little bit of family around for 4th of July. And, I've been to, in the last 2 months, I've been to at least 5 bars that were so crowded that you couldn't walk through them, and no person with a mask on there. But, even the liberal people are going to get together with a handful of their friends in their backyard and probably cook a hamburger. But 197 was the only price in Nebraska it was dressed. Kansas and Texas didn't really quote anything other than mixed bag cattle. Kansas had 300 head confirmed on Friday, and Texas 100. And Kansas didn't even sell 3,000 for the week last week, and Texas only 1,300. So, you know, do the Packers even want to act like they're out there trying to negotiate and buy some cattle on the open market? Hell no. Box beef cutout values, they were down quite a bit for the week, but I mean, they're still so much higher compared to what they're paying for cattle. It's ridiculous, yet they're still resisting buying any cattle. Choice cuts, all of last week's sales, the weighted average on them, $312.20. That was down $17.52 compared to the previous week's weighted average. And Friday afternoon's quotes were much cheaper than that, all the way down to $304.56. Tell you what, that'd be terrible if the Packers got their wholesale beef cuts on choice under $3 a pound, you know, when they're just barely paying $2 a pound for dressed carcasses, but ridiculous. Selects $277.79 on the weighted average for last week, down $14.71. End of the week quotes were just about right in there at $276 and change. Slaughter for last week, just about par with what we had the week before and the year before. 661,000, 2,000 less than last week, 4,000 less than the same week a year ago. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV auction ended the week at 145.30. That's based on an 800-pound steer, and all your sales that are covered through DV auctions, a real-time index. That's Cattle Market Central up through the middle 12 states, just like your CME index. But that was up $2.88 for the week. And indeed, your cash feeder trends in your sale barns were steady to $4 higher. Calves not really well tested. Most of them are out enjoying their best life on their mothers in this time of year. But like I said, the city's got some catching up to do. Their trend will likely be sharply higher here today on Monday. Look at your late week sales and over the weekend. Fort Scott, Kansas. Look at these lots of loads at least and bigger sold on Saturday in Fort Scott. The couple of stickouts I see there was the 59 head, weighed 928 pound steers at 145.85, and 128 steers weighed 859 at 149.10. Look at some other individual quotes around. How about South Coffeyville Stockyards, South Coffeyville, Oklahoma? 88 head, 568 pound steer calves bring 170.50. Now don't forget, South Coffeyville Stockyards are having a special video auction. It's actually going to be held in Pahuska. I'm going to be going up there to catch the internet bids for DV auction. That's the way they're going to have the online sales there. So you'll be able to go to dvauction.com and look at those lots, and then you can view and bid that sale on July the 6th, and it's going to be in the evening time. So be sure and check that sale out, but looking forward to going up there and doing that. How about another quote on Friday, St. Onge Livestock? That's our buddy Justin Tupper's sale. You know, support him if you're in that area, or if you're buying cattle out of that area. He's you know, putting his reputation and his time and energy on the line, you know, to help the industry. And nobody could have done a better job than what he did testifying before that Senate Ag Committee. Support him over there. St. Onge Livestock, St. Onge, South Dakota. His stick-out sale on Friday was 70 head of steers, weighed 865 at $147. But the best quote that I saw anywhere late last week was on Friday. It's your Zach Tran top quote for the day. Treasure Valley Livestock, Caldwell, Idaho. Pretty good place to be. 58 steers weighed 662 at $163. And that's your feeder flash for Monday.